Hey everyone, this is Jessica from ADVYON. Today we are talking about email security and why that is so important right now. Today I have with me Brian, CEO of ADVYON, and we are going to be kind of covering some questions, some hot topics, and discussing all of this as far as email goes. Hey Brian, how are you?
I'm good, Jessica. How are you?
Wonderful. I have a couple of questions. These are questions that have come from some of the businesses that we work with, different questions that we've heard around the office, questions that I have myself. I just kind of want to go through them so we can kind of answer them and get a better understanding of this.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
So today, email security, is it the most important security in the environment? Is it the most important security that businesses need to be worried about?
But it's definitely the one that we need to be talking about the most today. There are a lot of security events that are going on at this time, as we all know, but email security is definitely on our top priority list today. Let's face it, most of our computers have antivirus. Most everybody knows what antivirus is.
Yeah.
But the way that threat actors are attacking us today is largely through email. Now, that's not to say that SMS, your text messages aren't getting targeted as well. And you're also getting more spam phone calls than ever. However, the older generation is using a lot of phone stuff. The younger generation is using a lot of texting, but we're all using a lot of email. So that is the absolute one common thread that everybody has. And these threat actors are utilizing this more and more frequently. And with the introduction of AI today, it's making it really easy for them to do it and duplicate it and make it convincing. So email security in today's environment is absolutely the thing that we need to be talking about from a security perspective, from your personal security and your business security.
So my first question that I have to kind of jump into this is talking about personal information. Why is our personal information being leaked? Why is this the start of kind of where spam emails and all of that is kind of starting from?
Yeah, so the biggest problem that we have as a society today is the protection of our personal information. And it's prolific and it's all over the place. And the worst part about it is there's not much you can really do about it. You have to give your trust to companies every day that you have no control over their security with your personal information. You have to give your doctor your personal information. You have to give the hospital your personal information. You have to give vendors that you use all the time at least your name and email. And this can be any vendor that doesn't even seem to be crazy important. So if you order shoes online and you have to give them your name, your email address, your shipping. Sometimes they have you answer security questions, and that's all to keep your information secure. But what happens when they get attacked and all of that information gets leaked? Well, you had no, it was not your fault. You had no way that you could secure that. You have to really rely on those people to protect your stuff. And the truth of the matter is, it's harder and harder every day to protect that information for large corporations.
Yeah.
And yeah, your information is out there for bad people to look at. So that's the start of our issue that we have today with email security. Is your personal information is being leaked by the companies that you trust online, and worst of all, it's even getting sold. Some of these companies are actually selling your personal information. So one thing that we always say in this industry is, if you don't pay for the product, you are the product. So oftentimes, if you're signing up for that free membership or something like that, they have to make money somehow. And the way they do that is they sell your information to advertisers and other people posing as advertisers to get to you. So
Right.
that's why personal information and security of that is the absolute beginning of this email debacle that the world is finding itself in today.
So obviously we can't avoid putting some of our information out there, but
Mm.
how do we keep our personal information safe online to try to limit those spam and fake emails?
Man, that's a great question. It's really difficult to do so because you have to trust these companies that they're going to secure your information properly. And it's not just online. Going into your local hospital, you trust that they're going to take care of your security or social security number. You trust they're going to take care of your, medical stuff. And, for goodness sakes, you got to give them your maiden name and all of these security things so they will see you.
Right.
But if they ever get attacked and that information is ever released, which happens all the time,
Mhm.
uh, that information is put somewhere on the dark web where bad actors can just download a database of this information and then try to trick you into doing something that they want you to do. And that's really the name of the game today, is not necessarily there's still bad websites out there that if you click you might get a virus, but that's not really what they're trying to do today. What they're trying to do today is to get you to do something that they want you to do, whether it's install their software, call them because there's an emergency, your electric bill is overdue and they want you to go down to Walmart and get a whole bunch of gift cards to pay it. Whatever they want you to do, they want you to do some things, and that way, that really bypasses them hacking. If they can get you to do something that's called social engineering, and if you look up the security protocols for training that IT support people have to go through, that is one of the biggest issues that we face today, is not necessarily your computers being secure, your email being secure, but you being tricked or social engineered into doing something that somebody else wants you to do. And largely that turns out bad for you.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously you said we can't stop from getting the spam emails, the text messages, the calls, but how can we stay on top of them? How can we kind of know what to look for?
That's a great question. Today, since the introduction of AI, all of these new systems that they're putting out with large language models and Chat GPT and some of the other GPTs that most people don't even know about, they made other things besides Chat GPT. Even criminals have their own large language model like Chat GPT that doesn't have the guardrails that Chat GPT has put up. So they can actually have a program that they could tell to write a virus and they don't even have to write it. So the barrier of entry into that activity is lower and lower today. And the proliferation of information is higher. They're getting more of these emails, they're getting more of these names, they're getting more of this information. And they're able to create the systems to feed those in there and send those spam messages, spam calls. There's robocalls now. There's AI that actually sounds like a real person that can call you up with a script and can answer questions like a real person would and trick you into doing things you don't want to do. There's also robotexts that are going out that speak in natural language. And these threat actors have access to all these things, and they just hit you with a whole bunch of it because for them it's a numbers game. You can be vigilant. You can be vigilant 99 times out of 100. Still click on that one, and they got you.
That's
You
it.
know, that's really what they're looking for. So um, to really combat that, we need a good set of security measures and protocols in place to make sure that your information doesn't get hacked. So we need to absolutely have good passwords. Passwords are still a thing, unfortunately. We still have to have two-factor authentication set up, and that is, a text message from your bank allowing you to get in. Some of these are having thumbprints on your phone, your facial recognition on your phone. There's a lot of ways to two-factor authenticate yourself to make sure that It's actually you that's accessing the software or your email or your bank account or whatever that is. Definitely need to set that up. If you don't know how to do that, get a professional that can help you. And it's okay to do that. It's definitely okay. Professionals like us really like helping people that need this kind of help and that are curious about it and want to make sure that they're safe and secure. So,
I have
yeah,
a question to kind of go along with that. I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but something that you mentioned was, partnering with your professional to kind of have that and knowing what to look for. Why is that important to teach people how to spot fake emails and to protect themselves from things like that? Why is that an important thing to do? And how do you go about doing that?
right. So online, there's lots of videos on how to recognize what a spam text looks like, what a phishing email looks like, or what a phony phone call looks like. And I would recommend that anybody would look those up. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there. There's lots of security documentation out there to do it. Listen, I know this stuff is boring. I have to read it and I have to train it. And it's not a fun Saturday afternoon outside in the sun. And I completely understand that. And if that's not something that you're interested in necessarily, make sure that you have a trusted advisor that can work with you, that you can bounce these things off of if they happen. So you can call up ADVYON if you want to and say, hey, this doesn't look right. This doesn't smell right. I don't think that this email is correct. Those things are good. Another thing that you can do is trust but verify. That's a very important thing to do. And never respond to someone who has sent you information. You always start the conversation. That's super important today, is make sure you start the conversation. So it looks like this. Verizon randomly calls you out of the blue and says, hey, I've got this great promotion. It looks like you live at this address, and it looks like these are the last four digits of your phone number. Is that correct? And you say, yeah, that's correct. Well, great. I'm going to send you a code, and I want you to tell me what that code is, and I will be able to access your account and give you the new specials that we have and save you $100 a month. That sounds great, doesn't it, Jessica?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that is a real scenario that happened to one of our customers. And that scenario happened when someone stole their information, got their cell phone number, found out that Verizon was the carrier, called them up and acted like it was Verizon, and then stole their phone number. So what they did was they ported that person's phone number over to their system, over to their Verizon account, and then took over their two-factor authentication. Now they had access to their bank accounts. They had access to
Everything.
almost everything that that customer had, anything that was in Verizon, because they verified that they had that code. So in this instance, let's just reverse back here. If she had said, or he had said, hey, look, that's great. I'm really excited about this. I'm going to call back your sales team and we're going to start this process again. Do you have a code that I can automatically start this process again? Or what's your name and number? I want to give that to the salesperson to have them transfer me to you. At that point, that would have foiled the whole plan, and that person would still have their phone number, and we wouldn't have had to go back to Verizon and try to port it back and all of that. But that is a real scenario that happened to one of my customers because they trusted someone that called in that had very general information, only had the address and only had their phone number, and that was enough for them to trust it. And you can get that information online, easy. You don't even have to steal somebody's information. You can get their Facebook page, you can get that off their LinkedIn page. So that is called social engineering. That's really a threat landscape that's happening today. I know we're talking about email, but we can apply this to email as well, where they send you an email address and they say, hey, this is Google. We need to reset your email password. Looks like a Google email address. Boom, you try to reset your password and then nothing happens and your password doesn't change. And you're like, oh, that's strange.
And they
Well, somebody just stole your email password, and um, that's really how it starts. So,
wow. Another question. This is a phrase I hear often, and I do not know the answer to. What is a man-in-the-middle attack?
oh, I'm so glad that you answered that, because that's very common today, and it's one of the biggest problems that we're having. And a man in the middle attack is one of the ways that threat actors are moving large sums of money today from one place to another. And it kind of looks like this. And I'm not going to pick on anybody. This is just a scenario that has happened in the past. Realtors are very vulnerable to this. Realtors are typically people that are in the know with large transactions. They're 1099 employees most of the time of these companies that they're contracting with, and they don't have a large IT budget, or they don't have an IT person that's working for them most of the time, because they feel like they're small and they're not going to be attacked.
Right.
However, realtors are one of the largest targeted demographics for this kind of attack. And what will happen is exactly what I just explained a second ago, where a threat actor will find out this person has an email address that's in real estate. And it's so easy. If you see Jessica Charleston Real Estate, obviously you're a realtor, right? It's so easy to find out, because you want to show off that you're a realtor. So I'm going to send Jessica that same password reset, and I'm going to send it 20 different ways. I'm going to send you one for Gmail. I'm going to send you one for Microsoft. I'm going to send you one for Dropbox. I'm going to send you one for Adobe. I'm going to send you one that for any software that you might use, and wait for you to make a mistake. And you're going to eventually make that mistake. The more that I do this, and the better that I get. And of course, like we said, AI is making this easier. It's making it natural language. We can copy emails verbatim. I can take the logo for something and put it on something else and make it super easy. So now you have messed up, you reset your password, and now this is to your email. So now they have access to your email, but you don't know it. And here's why you don't know it. You got a password reset, you reset the password, and nothing happens. You don't get hacked. Your computer doesn't die.
Right. Everything looks the same.
Everything looks the same. But somewhere else, somebody has logged into your email remotely, because everything's in the cloud. We can access it anywhere. Someone's logged into your email somewhere else. And you may see a symptom of this where you start getting random codes thrown to your phone or something like that, where it's just like, hey, I didn't try to log into this. Hey, I don't know what's going on with this. But nevertheless, if they get into your email like that, now they just sit back and watch. They watch your emails back and forth between you and the person that you represent. They'll watch emails going back and forth between you and your real estate attorney, and they just wait. They wait to the right moment. And lots of people ask me, they're like, how did they know that, or just the right moment to send that? It's crazy. Well, they were just waiting for the right moment. And then they'll see the real estate attorney send a transfer document to transfer funds from one person to another, and they'll copy that document almost exactly. And then they'll say, oh, but we need to change the routing numbers to this. I need you to send this $28,000 to this routing number instead of that routing number. And now the real estate attorney that was not hacked has sent the money to the wrong location, because the person was actually watching the realtor, not the real estate company. Right. And that's what's called a man in the middle attack. And it's very prevalent today. It's happening for realtors, like I said, it's happening for construction companies. It's really happening for a lot of people that are transferring money back and forth through the financial system. And that is exactly what a man in the middle attack is.
Wow. That is crazy. And that's a lot of money. I mean, it makes sense. That is a huge threat. Okay.
Man, the worst problem with that is the FBI doesn't care. Right now you can report this to your local police department, but it's very unlikely that anybody gets caught. I think the FBI doesn't even look at those cases if it's under $50,000,
Wow.
which lots of these transfers are. So if that ever happens, you need to contact your bank immediately before those funds transfer and try to get those funds back. Most of the time you can, I've found, but sometimes you can't, and that's an insurance claim, and that can really hit your business insurance.
Right.
And the worst part about it is it's not even the realtor that is the one that had that problem. It's the
Attorney.
real estate attorney
Right.
that falls back on, because the real estate attorney did not verify that it was coming from the right place. Also, you didn't mean to do it, if you're the realtor. So who's
Yeah.
liable in that situation?
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. It's a big mistake, but who's really liable in that situation? It's a very gray area. So, it's something that's prevalent today, and it's definitely driven a lot by email and email security.
Well, that's terrifying. That is. So, how does personal information connect to email threats we encounter in both business and personal context? How does that kind of connect?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because, as people, we're not sitting around, all day. We all have jobs. We're all doing good work for good people. That's our goal every day, is to wake up and do more good work for more good people. And the personal information that is stolen from you follows you to your work, because now I can find out if I've stolen your personal information, I can find out where you work. I can find out what systems they use, and then I can go in to attack you with that personal information, because I have that information to go and to attack you with. And that goes from everything from email, SMS messages, social media, business social media. So if I have your personal information, I can look you up on LinkedIn, and then I can create a fake LinkedIn profile and friend you and show that I'm a part of your organization when I'm really not, gain your trust, and have you eventually compromise information to me. And that's very common, and that's how your personal information is connecting to your business, and how that is working against you today. It's another part of the threat landscape that it's hard to protect against. So a business has to have really good systems in place to make sure that they can detect these intrusions, detect these phishing attacks, and train their employees on how to recognize one and what to do when you do have one, and have a security plan in place to make sure that A, this is stopped before it starts, and B, if something does happen, what do you do after that? So
Yeah.
that way you triage as fast as you can and make sure that any breach is taken seriously and taken care of quickly. Maybe
So,
that part is, asking your IT company. We could certainly help companies with security plans and email security and email training of employees. We do that all the time.
so as a business owner, say I'm a business owner, why is it important to teach my employees how to spot that as well? I mean, I know you said it can connect to your business, but why is that as important as a business owner?
That's a great question. And the first thing that I would say is that this is one of the biggest security things that a company is facing today, is securing people's email, because most of our communication is done via email. Most of our information is looked up via email. You look back on your old emails, you try to find the things that you've seen before, whatever that is. And we're using email more than any other system that we use today in the office. So making sure that your employees are trained on how to spot fake emails, even if it's from you,
Mhm.
is a super important security step to making sure your company's continuity works well. Another thing that is very important, obviously, nobody wants to make a mistake and send that $28,000 somewhere that it shouldn't go. And, guess who has to pay for that? That's definitely the business. And that's the business owner if you're the business owner. But oftentimes that can lead to other ramifications as well.
Right.
So, you're standing in whatever market that you're in, your reputation takes a hit because now you've got this lawsuit. Now you've got this, thing that's out in the public that you have been compromised. You did not take your security seriously, or your employees didn't take your security seriously, or their training, they didn't have enough training. And now your reputation of your business suffers from this. Another thing that it can help with is employee morale. Having a well-trained staff is a great part of internal communication for a business. So not only do we talk about business initiatives and we talk about business goals and we talk about your personal goals, but increasing a person's knowledge about technology and security is not just going to help them in your business, it's going to help them in life, because
That is
your
true.
personal stuff and your business stuff are linked. You're the same person. So having a great educated staff is a fantastic way to increase morale, make sure that your company culture is focused on the mission. And one of those things is definitely securing the company's information. Um, so that is absolutely important to train your companies on how to spot fake emails.
So say I'm an employee, I get an email, something doesn't seem right, doesn't sit right with me. What can I do if it doesn't seem like it's right? What can I do as the employee to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to make sure I'm not compromising the business?
Well, Jessica, you call me if you have an email that doesn't look right to you. You and we'll look at that email together. But all fun aside, if you do have an email, there should be, like I said, a security protocol of something that you've been trained, that the company says, all right, if you have some kind of a breach, whether it's a phishing email or whether it's some other breach, this is how we're going to handle it. This is your technology security officer. This is the person that knows the most about information technology. You can call your IT company and we can assist you with, is this right or not? And a lot of those things are, first of all, one thing that I like to say about this, Jessica, is a lot of people, if they make a mistake, let's say that you didn't think it was right, but you clicked it anyways. You're having an off day, Jessica. Not that you ever have off days, because you don't. You don't. I know this. Everybody knows Jessica does not have off days. But let's say that there's some scenario where Jessica is just crazy busy, has an off day, and clicks that link. I would definitely encourage everyone to have open communication and feel comfortable in admitting that mistake. Because oftentimes I see that there's a lot of people that are worried about making mistakes in the office. Some businesses are kind of cutthroat. If you make a mistake, it really is going to hold you down. You're not going to get that raise. You're not going to, whatever that is. I would encourage everyone to, admit that mistake and bring it up. It's okay if you make a mistake. IT people, we don't make fun of people that make mistakes, because quite frankly, I've made those mistakes. It's hard not to make those mistakes. Those things are confusing and they look very, very convincing, especially the ones that are made today with this AI that has come out. So I would encourage everyone that if they do make a mistake, or if they do click something like that, bring it up. Bring it up to your boss, whoever is in charge, your IT company, and you don't have to feel bad. It's something that's tripping everybody up today. You're not alone. Really smart people are getting tricked all the time, and that is definitely where I want to leave that is, if you do recognize it, before you click, ask somebody. B, you can always, don't click it, go straight to the company. Remember, you always start the conversation. Don't let anybody start a conversation with security information for you. You always start the conversation. And C, if you do make that mistake, it's okay. Lots of other people have made that mistake. don't feel embarrassed to speak up. That's going to be good for you. It's going to garnish trust, believe it or not. When you speak up about your mistakes, that does show trust in your bosses and your superiors, that I can trust this person, that when they make a mistake, they're going to
Talk about it.
talk about it, and they're going to try to be better and not make that mistake again. So yeah, I definitely encourage that as much as possible.
Well, that's awesome. I think we had a ton of great information in this, had a great conversation, answered a lot of questions. Thank you so much. I know that I learned a lot in this. I hope that everybody else has learned a lot in this who are watching this. I've really enjoyed this as well. I would love to do this again, Brian. Let's definitely get together and talk about other topics, hot topics that are going on in the area and in businesses, so that way we can make sure that everyone is covered as needed. Of course, ADVYON is fantastic at IT and being that IT partner for all businesses within the area. So making sure that we're taking care of their needs is also very important. Thank you, Brian, so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica, for setting this up. I'm really looking forward to the next one. I think the next one we're going to talk about is businesses and hurricane disaster plans.
Yeah,
That's
it's
an
coming.
interesting one. Yeah, it's coming. The season is coming. And they say it's going to be an active one. Of course, they say that every year. But we definitely need to be prepared for that as business owners. And
Yes.
I'm looking forward to chatting with you about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and hope to see you soon.
Thanks, guys.